You may be wondering who I am. Well, I'm just an ordinary person like you. My name is Corinne Blair, and I have a few things to get off my chest. I'm born in London, England, lived here most of my life, travelled around a few places in the world. My most recent generations of my family come from the island of Jamaica, but I'm under no illusion that my roots are of African heritage and descent. Recently heard David Cameron has gone to our island, as I call Mama, or Yard. Africa is Mama Yard and Jamaica is Yard. I recently heard about a visit of David Cameron going to Jamaica and, promising certain amounts of money to do certain projects and stuff. And I just want to have a little say on this matter. I'm deeply, deeply, deeply concerned, and I'm deeply agitated and annoyed. Not that long ago, there was a march in Brixton where some thousands of black African people gathered marching for reparations. Now, we've heard no response. There was no media coverage. There was no response, no acknowledgement of this march or of various calls for reparations, not just in London or just in England, but around the world globally, wherever Africans inhabit. There's been no reply. And yet, within the month, we hear David Cameron is pledging up to some £25 million to build a prison in Jamaica. I am really fed up and sick and tired of Europeans pretending that they have created wealth off of their own backs and that they are somehow successful because they're such great people, when actually the only success and wealth that you have is that which you have rendered from stealing and pillaging from other nations around the world, namely my people, Africans. I find it an absolute audacity that you should, Mr. Cameron, ignore totally the march and the requests for reparations and yet pledge up to £25 million to build a prison in Jamaica. You're taking the mick, mate. You're taking the mick. Jamaica has plenty of bright, aspiring people, young people, middle-aged people with wonderful ideas, characters, skills, and just, yes. And yet, we have so many children in Jamaica that don't get the opportunity to go to school and develop their natural skills, yes? This is partly because of once the English have removed themselves, well, in a certain degree, from Jamaica, after they couldn't get to rinse it out anymore, that they've taken everything with them and left it in a kind of collapsed state. And as punishment, placed sanctions on the country, and the IMF dictating how much the dollar will be worth there, so till it's not really worth hardly tuppence now. I find it a slap in the face that you should wish to invest £25 million to build a prison rather than schools and hospitals and places where that would be beneficial to the people of Jamaica. People are not born as criminals. People may resort to crimes because of certain levels of poverty. Yes. Every year it surprises me that we Jamaicans celebrate independence, and yet it's very clear to see we are very far from independence. Cameron, if you want to donate whatever 300 million over the years or 25 million for the prison, I suggest you look back into that, yeah? If you've got £25 million to spare for Jamaica, if you do, which is not really your money anyway, because nobody has ever paid Jamaica a penny for the sugarcane industry work that was done there. The country was practically turned into a farm for some decades and yielded the British Islands a wealth of fortune today, which they sit on their high arses and look down their noses at the rest of the world like they're some great thing, yeah? At the end of the day, that £25 billion is just a little a smidgen of what you owe us. We don't owe you nothing. And not just Jamaica. There is no such thing as a third world debt. Africa owes you nothing. African people all over the world owe Europe nothing. Yes? Stop pretending. Let's stop the bullshit now, yes? Let's stop pretending. No, you can continue to overlook it. Esther Zozi, give all praises, all praises. Thank you for your representation thus far. And I send more energy and power to you so you can continue your works, yes? Until you Europeans stop pretending that slavery, yes, you have admitted that it's happened, but you are not admitting that the wealth that you are benefiting from today stems from there. Don't tell us to get over it. Don't tell us to move on. Don't tell us to forget it. Don't tell me I got a chip on my shoulder. I have a field of potatoes on my shoulders and they're quite heavy. And guess what? Every single potato is justified. So don't tell me about a chip on my shoulder. You can look back you can put your name into a computer and find your relatives and find your history and find, you can go back. What's it, ancestorsrus.com, all these things here, Ancestry and all these things. You know what, when I put my name in, it goes thus far and it stops. It stops. It doesn't stop because of some technological difficulty. It doesn't stop because there's fault. It stops because there was deliberate interference. Yes? Let us stop pretending. I'm not going to forget, ever. So it doesn't matter how you try to gloss over it, how you try to use your PR people to come and put different things in front of us to distract us. We won't forget. We won't forget and we won't get over it. Tell you what, I'll tell you when we'll get over it. Give us back what is ours. You see your museums and all your places that's housing our artifacts, the remnants of our ancestors' bodies, the coffins, the riches, the minerals. Money is just one aspect, yes? Money is just one aspect. Again, remnants of the trauma that our ancestors went through is still very much alive today. Our people have been traumatized. I suggest to you, Cameron, you put on the NHS right about now. You got money to help people stop smoking on the NHS, even though you lot legally sell tobacco. Yeah, I've never heard of no one dying from smoking a spliff, but I hear of billions of people dying from smoking cigarettes every year, and yet you don't. You make that illegal. It's legal for you lot to make your money off that. Yes. You don't mind spending billions of pounds on the NHS to help people stop smoking. I suggest to you, if you're really sorry about slavery, I suggest to you a section on the NHS needs to be put aside specifically for the generations that have come after slavery so that we may get the counselling that we deserve and we so desperately require in order to get over it. Yes? Then again, you lot's apologies. You come every year with this apology and your stamps and your posters and your Black History Month crap. It means nothing until you acknowledge fully. You can say sorry every year. A new Prime Minister can come every 4 years and make a big apology. That means nothing until you admit and give back what is ours. Then, and only then, will we begin to get over it. Nobody's going to forget. You can't forget. We can't forget. I'd love to. I'd love to step outside and just get on with my life normally. But as long as I see police gunning down my brothers in the street and getting no kind of punishment for it, it just reminds me again. Yeah? As long as I see institutions purposely setting certain restrictions and certain area codes only where we're mainly inhabited by my people, it reminds me again, so I can't forget. Yeah? As long as I see airplanes going over to places in Africa saying, we're giving you vaccinations to help you get over this and to prevent smallpox and prevent this and prevent that, when we've been living there for so long without your vaccinations, and next minute this whole place has got AIDS, this whole place has got Ebola. But wait, we never had that until you came to give your vaccination, so it reminds me again. I can't forget. I'd love to forget, but I can't forget. So you stop the bullshit. Yeah, admit it. Not just come and tell me sorry. I don't want to hear sorry. I don't want to hear another sorry. Let's get it straight. Let's peel it back to the nitty of the gritty. Let's go back to the sugarcane industry. Number one, we're talking about Jamaica here first and foremost. Cameron, you should be ashamed of yourself. You should be ashamed. A big march in your country less than a month ago, and you've totally ignored it, and yet you want to offer 25 million to build a prison. What, is there too many Hussein Bolts? Too many great runners and athletes coming up, kicking you lot up in the Olympics, yeah? The America already went over there with Snoop lying, chatting about they want to go over there and build crops and teach people in Jamaica how to farm. Snoop Doggy Dogg, since when did you develop green fingers? Or were you the puppet that America wanted to use to infiltrate us? Yeah? And start poisoning our food. We don't need you to teach us nothing about farming. We've been farming before you was even civilized, yeah? And no, you're not coming in the doors to start poisoning us and mash up our infrastructure, yeah? More than you have done already. And England, if you want to go in there and you want to spend some money, spend it the right way, yeah? Furthermore, you don't go there and tell people what you're going to build there, yeah? Portia Simpson is there. If you want to give some money back from what you've stolen, then you give it to her and you let her decide how it's going to be spent, yeah? Portia, I'm counting on you, you know. I'm counting on you. All you black leaders, I'm counting on you not to keep selling us out. Imagine I born here in England. Like I said, last few generations is from Jamaica, but I'm under no illusion. I'm African. I'm depending on you leaders not to keep selling out pieces of our culture, whatever's left. Stop thinking of yourself and only your family and disregarding the rest of the nation. If we don't move forward, it's nobody else's fault but our own. Yes, we can continue to sell each other out for 30 pieces of silver. But then, when the master turns around and steps on your neck, don't look for nobody to come and feel sorry for you. Because you deliberately sold us out for your 30 pieces of silver. David Cameron, I am most upset and most disappointed. I'm glad I didn't vote for your ass. People, my African people, let's wake up. We don't want to hear no more sorries. We don't need no more manifestos. We want action. Action. Action.